Welcome, dear listener. You've found your way to a simpler time. Let the noise of modern life fall away now, the buzzing screens, the ticking clocks, the endless errands. You are safe here. You are about to drift, not into fantasy, not into legend, but into something far more gentle, the ordinary, slow, and deeply human rhythm of medieval life. Tonight, we are not royalty. We are not knights or nobles, nor wise scholars in candlelit towers. No, tonight, you are a humble peasant. You wake not to the shriek of an alarm, but to the faint crowing of a rooster, somewhere beyond the timbered wall of your thatched cottage. The straw beneath you shifts as you stretch, your bed, a humble sack stuffed with hay, softened only by time and exhaustion. Outside, the sky is a dim gray blue. The sun has not quite risen, but the birds are whispering already, soft chirps and rustling wings weaving through the mist. Your body aches just a little. Yesterday's work has left its mark, but there is peace in that ache, the kind that comes from living close to the land. Let us begin our slow walk through this day, shall we? Let the gentle rhythm of peasant life lull you to sleep, or deeper still, into the memory of a life once lived. The cottage is still dark, save for the faintest glow seeping through the woven shutters. The air smells of old wood, damp earth, and the remnants of last night's fire, now a pile of sleepy embers resting in the hearth. You share this home, of course. Peasants rarely live alone. Your spouse stirs beside you, wrapped in a thin woolen blanket. A child or two may be curled near the foot of the bed, tangled in limbs and warmth. Perhaps there's a dog, a lazy, loyal creature who sleeps against the door, twitching in dreams of sheep and rabbits. The home is small, perhaps one room, maybe two. The walls are wattle and daub, smeared with dried mud, held together by wooden beams cut from the forest edge. The thatched roof above you creaks gently with the wind. Now and then, you can hear mice in the corners, the whisper of tiny paws. You rise slowly, careful not to wake the others. There is bread from yesterday, hardened but edible, tucked away near the hearth. You chew it slowly, flavorless, perhaps a bit sour, but it fills the belly just enough. If you're lucky, there's a pot of porridge from the night before, cold and stiff, but nourishing. You scrape it from the side of the pot and warm it, if there's a spark left in the embers. There's no rush. There's never really a rush in peasant life, only the slow pull of the day's necessities. Outside, the chickens cluck softly. A goat bleats once, somewhere near the pen, and a neighbor coughs as they swing open their own creaky door. The village is waking. You pull on your tunic, rough-spun wool, hand-stitched. It's a bit itchy and worn at the elbows. Your feet slip into leather shoes, hardened by time, tied with twine. Outside, the mud greets you. It's always there. The path from your door to the center of the village is a winding mess of footprints, manure, straw, and puddles that never seem to dry. The air is crisp. You can see your breath, little clouds puffing out as you yawn. Children are gathering buckets, women are sweeping stoops, and old men are sitting on logs, muttering greetings and rubbing their knees. The church bell has not rung yet. That will come at sunrise proper. But you know the rhythm of this place. The village lives not by the hour, but by the sun, the seasons, and the sound of footsteps. You pass the well. Its stones are cold to the touch as you lower the rope, listening to the soft splash of the bucket. The water is clear today, blessedly so, and you take a long sip from your cupped hands, letting the cold wake your bones. There's a smell in the air, wood smoke, wet hay, and the faint, sour tang of manure. It's unpleasant to outsiders, perhaps, but to you, it smells of life, of warmth, of home. You greet a passing neighbor with a nod. And so the tasks begin. If you're a man, perhaps you'll head to the fields today carrying your hoe or your scythe, or just a basket for gathering weeds. If you're a woman, you may tend the garden, feed the animals, bake bread, spin thread. If you're a child, you may be chasing chickens, fetching water, or simply staring into the clouds until someone pulls you back to reality. Let's imagine you are tending to the field. The soil is hard in places, soft in others. It's early spring. The earth is waking too. You plant onions, cabbages, and beans, all humble crops, dependable, sturdy. Your hands are cracked. Your back bends easily, too easily for your age. But you've done this for years. You pause now and then to watch the birds in the hedgerow. Robins, mostly, and sparrows. They seem busier than you are, darting and flapping, collecting twigs like tiny, frantic peasants of their own. Around mid-morning, you return to the village briefly. Perhaps you collect a small bit of cheese from the village widow in exchange for firewood. Maybe you check on your children. One of them has caught a cold, and you wrap them in your cloak for a moment before heading back out. And then, it's time to gather dung. Yes, it's a real task, and an important one. Manure feeds the fields, and without it, crops fail. So you walk slowly behind the cows, a wooden rake in hand, humming softly to yourself. There's dignity in this life. Not glory, not comfort, but dignity. The kind that comes from knowing your place, your purpose, your rhythm. The sun has climbed above the cottage roofs now, casting long shafts of warm light through the village. You hear the bell from the church tower, 3 slow clangs, each one hanging in the air like a memory. It is not a loud bell, not like those of the great cathedrals. It is modest, cracked slightly from winters past. But it does the job. This is the signal midday. Time for the workers in the fields to return. One by one, they walk back toward the village center, some wiping sweat from their brows, others chatting softly, dragging bundles of herbs or firewood. You return to your cottage. The fire has been stoked again, and a pot hangs over it, bubbling gently. Pottage. A slow stew of cabbage, onions, maybe a bit of barley if you're lucky. Sometimes a sliver of salted meat floats to the top, rations saved for a day like today. You eat with a wooden spoon. No plates, just shared bowls. Your family gathers around, speaking little, chewing slowly. You tear bread with your hands and mop up the broth, letting the warmth settle deep into your bones. Outside, someone is playing a flute. Pearly, yes, but charmingly so. Children laugh nearby, perhaps chasing geese, or playing catch-stone, where they toss rocks and shout nonsense. A neighbor's dog joins in, barking joyfully and nearly knocking over a bucket of water. You smile. This, in its quiet simplicity, is joy. There are no banquets here. No golden goblets or silk napkins. Just food, family, and a brief pause before the day resumes its endless hum. Once your belly is full, it's back to work, but the afternoon hours move slower, softer. Perhaps today, instead of the field, you turn to your craft. You might be a blacksmith's apprentice, or a basket weaver. Perhaps you tin hides or spin wool with practiced hands. Let us say you are a thatcher today, called to patch a neighbor's roof. You walk to their cottage with a bundle of straw under one arm, a wooden mallet at your hip. The roof is patchy. Last month's storm left a hole near the chimney. You climb carefully, the ladder creaking, your feet steady. Above you, swallows dart and swoop, their wings catching the light like blades. You work quietly. You twist the straw into thick ropes, lay them neatly along the wooden slats, and hammer them in place. Tap, tap, tap. From up here, you see your village. Chickens scuttling across the path. An elder sitting by the well, telling a story to anyone who'll listen. A young girl picking wildflowers, tucking them behind her ears one by one. Time moves like honey. By mid-afternoon, you descend and share a mug of watered ale with the family you helped. They thank you with a small wheel of cheese and a promise to help with your fence next week. This is how things are done. Not with coin, not always, but with favors, with time, with shared labor and whispered trust. The bell rings again, this time slower. It's not for a feast, nor a warning. It is simply the hour of prayer. Everyone gathers near the church, a modest stone building with a sagging roof and a wooden cross above the door. Inside, candles flicker on the altar. The priest, old and gentle-eyed, stands in a robe patched at the seams. He speaks in Latin, words you do not fully understand, but you bow your head nonetheless. Because faith is not always in the words. Sometimes it is in the rhythm. You know when to kneel, when to cross yourself. You know the hymns, even if you hum more than you sing. After the service, people linger. They share news. A cousin has birthed a son. The barley crop is late this year. A wolf was seen near the woods. You listen, nodding, filing each note away in your mind. Not as gossip, but as survival. Religion, here, is not a grand doctrine. It is the net that holds the village together. The sun begins to dip. Shadows stretch across the cottages like sleepy cats curling up for the night. You return home and light a small fire, gathered sticks from earlier now crackling in the hearth. The glow bounces off the walls, making the small space feel warmer than it is. Your children return from play, muddy, loud, laughing. You wash their feet with water from the basin, scolding gently, but with a tired smile. Outside, the village green hosts a small gathering. A boy with a flute, now playing a new tune. An elder spinning a tale of dragons and far-off kingdoms. Everyone knows it's not true, but they listen anyway. Someone begins a game of skittles, rolling stones at wooden pins set in a row. There is clapping, cheering, even light dancing. You stand at the edge, watching. You remember playing once. Now, you are content to watch others run. A neighbor hands you a small meat pie, still warm, wrapped in cloth. You thank them quietly. Later, you will save half for morning. As the light fades, torches are lit. The stars prick the sky one by one. You feel your body sink slowly into stillness. The day is ending, and tomorrow it will begin again. The night air has settled in like a soft wool cloak. It's cooler now. You can feel the breeze slip through the cracks in the wooden walls of your cottage. The day's dust has fallen still. All that's left are the finishing touches, the quiet rituals before sleep. You reach for the wooden latch and push open the cottage door. A goat bleats somewhere near the barn. You forgot to check the coop. By habit, and without a word, you lift a lantern from its peg on the wall, its small flame dancing gently, and step out into the darkness. The chickens cluck softly as you approach, blinking up at you with suspicious eyes. You gather the last egg of the day, smooth and warm in your palm. It goes in the basket, tucked beneath a linen cloth. You run your hand along the fence post as you return, checking for loose planks. Tomorrow, you'll patch it. The firewood pile is stacked neatly, your earlier work still holding strong. A little victory in an otherwise ordinary day. You return inside. The children are yawning now, their faces clean, tucked into straw-stuffed mattresses laid upon the earthen floor. You blow gently on the lantern to dim the light. Just enough remains to guide you to your own bed. You settle into your bed, rough linen, stuffed with straw and dried rushes. It smells faintly of hay and hearth smoke. Your body aches in familiar places, your back, your feet, but it's a good ache. An earned one. The ceiling above you is dark. Wooden beams cross overhead like old bones holding up the sky. Beyond them, stars. You let your eyes close, but your thoughts remain awake, soft and meandering. You dream, not of faraway lands or golden castles, but of the field you planted in spring and how it might yield in summer. Of your neighbor's daughter learning to read, and whether that will change things. Of a better hoe, a dry winter, a second pair of boots, and sometimes, Just sometimes, your dreams carry you to places you've never been, to the edge of the known forest, to the market town 3 days away, to the king's court, where nobles dine and jesters sing. But those dreams are not for tonight. Tonight, you dream of warmth, of bread, of morning light pouring through the thatched roof, of small joys and steady rhythms. Outside, the village slumbers. The moon floats lazily over the hills, casting silver upon thatched roofs and wandering paths. The baker's oven is cold. The forge is dark. Even the dogs have quieted, their noses twitching in dreams of rabbits and scraps. The church bell is silent. If you were to walk through the village now, you'd hear only the wind whispering through trees, the low coo of a nesting pigeon, and the distant, lulling creak of a cottage shutter left unlatched. A cat slinks across the road, pausing at your door. She curls up on the doorstep, purring into the wood. All is still. Time, here, folds in on itself. There is no rush, no noise, no alarm to wake you, only breath and quiet. And now, sleep holds you like a cradle. You are not a knight, not a queen, not a merchant in a bustling port. You are a peasant, a thread in the fabric of a village that will carry on, with or without your name carved into stone. But your life is not small. It is rich with rhythms, plant, harvest, mend, rest, with touch and firelight and laughter shared around bowls of stew. History may forget you, but tonight you are remembered. In this quiet tale, whispered by candlelight. So sleep now, dear one. Let the sounds of the medieval world fade gently into dreams. Let the distant hoot of the owl be your lullaby. Let the cradle of straw and shadow wrap you in warmth. And when the rooster calls at dawn, the story will begin again. Good night, peasant.